What's going on, guys? Today I'm doing another versus battle, as you could probably tell by the title and the thumbnail, and yes, I actually am doing Katakuri versus Sabo. Now, I know that I was saying in a lot of my comments for the last versus battle I did that I didn't want to do Katakuri so much despite him being suggested for so many different versus battles, because I've done like 2 or 3 videos now on Katakuri versus whoever, and it's getting kind of redundant. I thought people might not like the idea of me just making Katakuri after Katakuri battle, but then I was thinking, like, for one thing, people do keep asking for it, so probably should do it anyway, but also, like, Katakuri is super prevalent in this arc, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna see him for a very long time, if ever again, really, so this is the time to strike. So I asked Riggs about it, he told me to do whatever tickles my pickle, and I said, fuck it, we're gonna do Sabo vs Katakuri. Also, if it wasn't obvious to some people, I am doing Sabo post Fire Fruit, so, I am accounting for the fact that he has eaten the fruit. And I also think it's worth noting that I am talking about Sabo post-eating the fire fruit, and you have to consider the fact that after like 15 seconds after he ate that fruit, he was pretty much a complete god of the fire fruit. He just instantly was using moves at least on the level of Ace, okay? Like, you think Ace just punching a fireball through a few ships was impressive? Just some wooden-ass ships? No, okay? Sabo launches this thing straight downwards at a coliseum. It looks like a quite well-structured coliseum, and completely destroys it. And a decent amount of time has passed since Dressrosa, so I can only imagine that he has been practicing with this fire fruit, has probably gotten some battle experience since it's kind of believed that he fought against the Blackbeard crew for some time, and he might have figured out a few tricks for it. So first of all, let's talk about a Devil Fruit matchup. So now, I actually think that in a 1v1 scenario, these Devil Fruits are actually pretty equal. And I am also saying this with the consideration that Katakuri's is in fact awakened, while I'm assuming that Sabo's is not. Again, it could very well be possible. There's been a little bit of time since he ate his Devil Fruit, and he was already such a master of it, but I'm going to assume that he has not awakened his. The biggest problem with the fact that Katakuri has an awakened Devil Fruit is I don't think it really gives him that big of an advantage, and the reason for that is, and now I know, a lot of people are going to hate hearing this, okay? They're going to hate hearing this because this is the same huge advantage that I gave Dofi in the Katakuri vs. Dofi battle last week, and people were just flipping shit saying that this is just not that important, but I'm going to say it again because Sabo also can fly with his Devil Fruit. At least as far as we've seen, he seems to be able to fly. Not just does this kind of nullify Katakuri's whole awakening, since at least as far as we've seen, it is more of a ground-based move, okay? It doesn't seem to work in the same magnitude as Dofi's, where it's just powerful strings that go in any direction he pleases. The fact that Sabo can most likely fly, and I mean, we've pretty much confirmed it based on what we've seen. You could argue that maybe he was just getting a little bit of a boost or something, but couldn't he just always boost himself then? I mean, come on, he can fucking fly. But yeah, pretty much just, I want to say right now that in this analysis of this battle I'm making, I am giving Sabo a huge advantage here for being able to fly. I think that's seriously important to consider when you're talking about a straight up battle, okay? Like, it's no surprise that Dofi had a pretty hard time dealing with Gear 4th compared to Gear 2nd and 3rd Luffy, not just because he's way more powerful in Gear 4th, but he makes it much more even with his own ability to fly as well. In fact, it's even worth noting, and I'm honestly surprised that I have to get so far into this, it's just that there was so much pushback in the Katakuri vs. Dofi video. It's worth noting that Dofi, at the very end of his battle against Luffy, mentioned that it's annoying that Luffy was over his head, as in he was so not used to someone being above him. Obviously, he's saying this because he thinks, he's like a higher being than Luffy, but it's also very subtly implying that he's always like physically above people from being able to fly. It gives him a huge advantage. So yeah, I don't want to ramble too much about this, okay? Sabo can fly, Katakuri can't. That's a huge W for Sabo. Now, fortunately for Katakuri though, he does have the ability to use long-range attacks with his piercing donuts, I believe they're called. He just launches little like projectiles, not really little, actually pretty decently big projectiles at whoever he's attacking. Now, the real question is, what would happen if Sabo launched a pretty decently sized fireball in the same direction as Katakuri? Like they're both just launching their shit, you know, Sabo's launching fireballs, Katakuri's launching these donuts, and they're going at each other and, you know, they collide. So what would happen then? Okay, obviously the donut would not, like, destroy the fire or anything, but there's the possibility, depending on how hot this fire is, how big it is, that it would just destroy the donut. It would completely nullify Katakuri's attack. Now again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this is not something I can come even close to confirming, but I think it's definitely a possibility. And even if, you know, the donuts just went right through the fire, which is very much possible, I think that the fire would definitely be, well, maybe not definitely, but it would be slightly better than the donuts. I'm not really sure, you know, I've never really seen these donuts land, but I can tell you I've seen Sabo's fireballs land, okay? Specifically Fireball, like I said earlier, the one that destroyed the Coliseum, okay? I mean, imagine a ton of those things getting launched at Katakuri, completely destroying the terrain, while Sabo is just flying. It wouldn't really make so much of a difference, where Katakuri has to deal with some shit down there. So I would say that is another potential W for Sabo. The one thing I will say that Katakuri has that Sabo doesn't is he does have the extra ability that the Mochi allows him to use, which is it kind of allows him to like change the shape of his body so he can dodge shit easier. And this is something that obviously Sabo just can't do because he's not Mochi, he's just fire. But while I think this is really helpful, this does help him dodge a lot of stuff, I think it really, in this situation, will only help him dodge physical attacks or, like, you know, Haki-based attacks from Sabo. Like, Sabo would have to be in his face going for him, and Katakuri could dodge that. If we're talking fireballs here, like we have been, these are massive attacks, okay? This is not like when Luffy is just using his Gatling gun on Katakuri, you know, his body is shifting all the time so that it dodges his small fist, like it's a normal size fist. These are massive fucking fireballs, okay? This isn't something you can just kind of move your body a little bit, like very subtly, as it's been explained. That's just not how this works. So while I think that is a nice little advantage that he has, I don't think it would be a huge one. So now moving on to possibly the most important part of the battle, their Haki levels. Now, while it's pretty easy to say how strong Katakuri's is, since we have seen so much relating to his Haki, that's been a very important part of the fight. They've really been emphasizing how strong his Haki is. Sabo, we just have not seen quite as much of. It hasn't been so obvious. I think maybe even technically he's not confirmed to be an observation Haki user. I don't know. I mean, obviously he can use observation Haki. The point is, I don't know if we've actually technically had confirmation on that, which means that we haven't really had any opportunities to see how strong it really is. But we can use two very important details about him to make some decent inferences to his power levels. So in his battle against Fujitora, again, there's not too much to say about his observation Haki, but it's worth noting that he was able to more than keep up with Fujitora, so it would be pretty reasonable to assume that he at least has pretty decent observation Haki, definitely probably at least on the level of Luffy, since Luffy also fought Fujitora and did pretty decently. You know, I would imagine Fujitora, an admiral, would be able to take advantage of someone pretty easily if they didn't have strong observation Haki. And his armament Haki we got a much more direct look at, okay? I mean, you have to consider the fact that he used his pipe, it made direct contact with Fujitora's sword on multiple occasions, okay? And this is a pipe, a blunt object, but at the same time, like, cylindrical, versus a sword, okay? Which were both obviously imbued with Haki. And Sabo's pipe didn't shatter, it didn't get cut in half or anything, okay? I mean, Fujitora is by all means a swordsman, and he's an admiral, so you have to imagine he has extremely strong armament Haki, and a sword like that would theoretically cut a pipe if it was being used strongly enough. But Sabo probably has strong enough armament Haki that it's not enough. It's not enough for an admiral's armament Haki to cut through or even really damage in any noticeable way. He was just using it the entire time. There was never a point where he was like, oh shit, my pipe's fucked up. No, He was fine the entire time. So now, while it's kind of just speculation, I would say there is a very good chance that his armament haki is at the same level of Katakuri's, which is very strong, if not maybe just a tad bit higher. Talking about his observation haki, again, we don't really have enough to make too much of a guess, but I'm just going to assume, since it's been made such a big deal about Katakuri's observation haki, that it's probably better. How much better, I don't really know. Probably a decent amount, because I think Katakuri really is an outlier in how strong his observation haki is. He can see 5 seconds into the future. But at the same time, I don't think that is nearly as important as armament haki. I think it will obviously give him some kind of advantage, but it's been shown in the Luffy fight. It's been shown just in the whole Cake Island since we have seen him, that there are limits to how much he can actually do with this. It's not just completely unbelievably overpowered as we first imagined when Capone said that he could see 5 seconds into the future. So I guess at this point of the story, while we don't know enough about Sabo's haki levels, I guess if I have to give someone the haki win, maybe it'll be Katakuri just by a little bit because of his observation haki. But again, I mean, this is complete speculation because we really know so little about Sabo. I would say it has to be pretty much either Katakuri just has the smallest haki advantage, if not Sabo does, okay? Like, I don't see a situation where Katakuri's haki is significantly better than Sabo's like it is over Luffy's. So, in a 1v1 battle, how I would imagine this plays out is pretty much Sabo is just alternating between flying around, launching fireballs, and getting in close, just really smashing Katakuri with his pipe. I would imagine he's going to try to play this game like he cannot let Katakuri predict him, okay? I know that he can see 5 seconds into the future, but if he's moving at ridiculous speeds, switching from being far away, launching fireballs, just rushing in there, attacking super fast, maybe circling around him, flying, like just completely toying with him. This isn't like Dofi, where it's kind of, his flying works like it doesn't Attack on Titan, where he has to pull to something with his strings. No, I mean, he has just like a straight up jetpack on, which he could theoretically use in any direction. He's extremely mobile, okay? That's how I'm imagining Sabo. That's how we've kind of seen him up until this point. If he just uses that to completely barrage Katakuri, I think it would be very effective. While it would probably be a pretty long, drawn-out battle, I think that Sabo definitely has this one in the bag, maybe low to medium difficulty. You know, I think Katakuri would put up a huge fight. His armament haki is very strong, so it would take a lot of hits from Sabo to really damage him. But, I mean, I don't think Katakuri really would be returning fire too much. I mean, he would obviously be fighting back. I just don't think that he'd be landing nearly as many hits, and the ones that he does, Sabo, again, also has strong armament haki, so it wouldn't be doing incredible damage or anything. I think Sabo's just got this one, really. I mean, this man is the number 2 of the Revolutionary Army, okay? That, as far as we know, only puts him below Dragon. We kind of have to expect these things. I mean, Dragon is very often considered to potentially be one of the strongest characters in the entire series, so putting Sabo directly below him in an organization, yeah, I think he's definitely going to be better than someone like Katakuri. I think Katakuri would put up a great fight. Like, this is a fight I would love to see. I think it would be sick. But I think Sabo, I don't think that there's any way that Katakuri could, like, pull some bullshit, is what I'm saying. Like, Sabo would win 99% of the time. It's really hard to say at this point, again, since we don't know everything about Sabo. We aren't 100% sure on if there's any limitations to his ability to fly and how strong his different types of haki are, but I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that he would be able to, in fact, beat Katakuri. So that's pretty much all I have to say on this fight. I think it would be great. I think it would be a lot of fun to watch, but until then, we'll just have to wait for it. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this video, ideas for future videos that you'd like to see, more versus battles ideas. Again, at the time you are watching this video, I am going to be on Thanksgiving break and I do not have my computer or anything, so the 3 videos that are going to be made this week on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday are all pre-made, so if the new chapter comes out this week and we learn some ridiculous information about Katakuri, then I apologize if it makes me wrong somehow. I can't imagine how that would happen in one chapter where Katakuri has been pretty much taken out at this point. But this is One Piece, you know, anything could happen. Thank you very much for making it to the end if you have watched this far, and I will talk to you guys on Friday.